Hi, everyone, and welcome to Let's Plan 2025 with Notion. I'm so happy to have you here today. As we're getting started, feel free to type into the chat where you're from, how long you've been using Notion. I'd love to hear about everyone's experiences. And also, if you have any 2025 goals that you're looking forward to, feel free to also write them into the chat. So the first thing I wanted to do is just quickly go over today's agenda. So there's going to be an introduction. I'll be going through a few tips on how to plan for 2025. And then I'm going to follow that by a building together session. And after that, I'll show you around the new goal planner for 2025 that just got launched into the store, followed by a Q&A session. And then I'll show you how to download freebies and all sorts of resources that are on offer. So let's go ahead and get started. So first, a quick introduction. My name is Sara, and the Organized Notebook specializes in designing Notion templates that help you optimize your workflow, organize data, and increase productivity. Be sure to check out the website and template store. There's a lot of freebies and free resources for beginners to get started with Notion. I'll be leaving the link to that into the chat so you can check out the website. And a few notes about the event. So feel free to add your comments and questions into the chat as we go through. There is a bit of a lag between YouTube and the live stream, so I might not be able to answer immediately. And if there are any outstanding questions, I can answer them during the Q&A. Just a friendly reminder, this chat is for discussing about this event and Notion related topics. Messages not related to these will be moderated and removed if necessary. So let's go ahead and dive into planning for 2025. So feel free to type what are some of your goals and hopes for 2025. I'm personally really excited to see what new things are brought in 2025. It's always a really refreshing experience to start a new year. There's so much hope and possibility, but at the same time, it is always a little bit challenging as the year goes by that you kind of lose that initial spark that you might have when you set your New Year's resolutions and all these things. So in today's event, I wanted to go over kind of how you can really make sure to focus on your goal throughout the year and kind of stay motivated, not just in January, but beyond. And even if it's December, there's never, too little time to actually fulfill your goals. So I think that that's really important. Welcome, Luis. Greetings from Miami, Florida. Oh, that's wonderful that you're trying to use Notion more to get organized. So maybe this event is perfect for you. So first of all, the thing that I wanted to mention is that the first step to goal planning is really to dream big for the future. So you can think about all of your life areas really broadly, such as your career, your health, personal growth, relationships, finances, and really don't let anything hold you back. So this is really the step where you can dream really big, even if it seems impossible and kind of outlandish. You can think about, who do I want to be by the end of the year, 5 years from now, 10 years from now? Just think really long-term goals and really your huge dreams. Think also about how would you describe this particular person. So another really great technique is kind of to separate yourself from the person you want to be and emulate that ideal person. So maybe this person reads every day. Maybe this person takes walks every day. What kind of person are they? Are they kind to others? And so on. So what kinds of daily routines and habits does this person do? And why do I want to be this person? So the why is really important to continue to stay motivated. So if you don't have a sufficient reason that you want to become like this, then it's really difficult. So if it's just that, oh, they look really attractive and they must exercise a lot. So the why is just that you want to be attractive is not really the best reasoning. It should be something really deep inside of you. Go through each life area that you can think of. Make sure to think about your vision. Don't think about any obstacles in this phase. So this is really when you cast your broad net so that you can really capture what exactly are the specific goals that you want to achieve and what is going to actually lead to those. So this is where you really want to cast the widest net possible. So you want to think of it like a gemstone where you first need to have that rough vision and then you start to polish it. The next thing to do is to reflect on the past. So now is a really great time to really dig deep into the past. Think about your past year and years. The past is the biggest lesson of our lives. So what has gone well and what has not gone well. So it's easy to just think about what went wrong when actually you should also think about the things that really worked for you. Have you set New Year goals in the past? How did those go? What has been some of the roadblocks for moving forward? And just like in the dream section, think of your life areas from the perspective of the past. So how were your finances in the past? How were your relationships? How was your health? And so on. So it's really important to go through each of these life areas and kind of evaluate them into both the future and into the past. The next thing to do is to extract your goals. So based on the first two sections, you can write out 10 possible goals that you could make for the upcoming year. So some of the recommendations are to just to list the life areas first and try to evenly balance your goal setting. And also the other thing is that sometimes you might have particular life areas that you want to focus more on this year. So it's also a good idea to not set too many goals. So the less, the better, in the sense that you are more likely to actually achieve them. And at the end of the year, you'll feel a sense of accomplishment. The next thing is to set actionable goals in advance. So think about timeframes. What steps would be needed to get to that goal? So instead of just dreaming that, oh, one day I'd like to be able to read one book a month, you actually need to actively set the steps to actually achieve those. So that means that, for example, January, at the end of January, you finish one book. End of February, you finish one book. So you have to think of these timeframes, and then when those build up, you actually accomplish that goal. The goal should also inspire, motivate, or challenge you. So if it's too easy, then it might not be the best. But if it's too difficult, it might not be the best either. So it should be a really nice balance that it's just out of your reach, but also achievable. And it really inspires and motivates you. And start with smaller, attainable goals. The next thing to do is take a look at your list. Choose a few that you could start with based on your priorities and how you feel about that goal. Examine if you need to tweak the goal so it's more actionable, measurable, and attainable. So the extracting goals process is really important because that's really what you want to focus on. But at the same time, I'm a huge believer that you don't want to set goals and then that's, set in stone, but rather to have your goals moldable. So as you move forward through the year, you might change and your perspective might shift. So it's important to also keep that in mind that it can be a flexible goal as well. The next step is to create your action plan. So you want to think about what does this mean when you have an action plan? What are the small attainable steps that you can take to end up at your goal? So this is actually where Notion is extremely valuable when planning for the next year, and what I wanted to cover in today's event with the building session is that you can really map out all of the steps that you need to accomplish that goal and refer to it and actually use that as kind of like your task list. And finally, it's important to motivate yourself. So you need motivation to move forward towards your goals. A few things to keep in mind is always imagine the end result and be confident that you know exactly how to get there. So the better plan that you have, the better likelihood you have to achieving that goal. So it's kind of like having a map to the destination so that you really want to make sure that you know exactly how to get there. Make sure to check in with yourself. Your planning is not something that is set in stone. Remember, you can complete, archive, and add new goals throughout the new year. Think about who can keep you accountable and what kind of rewards could be waiting for you. So accountability is also useful. So if you have someone you want to achieve that goal with, that could be a really great motivator as well. And the other thing is just that it's not just about the beginning of the year, but you can always set new goals, no matter if it's December, November, and later on in the year. But the most important thing is really to get started. So the next step is going to be to start building a simple goal planner and also a vision board as well. So basically a 2025 yearly goal planner. And I just wanted to quickly show you what we're going to be building today. And if this goes too fast, it will be recorded, so you can always refer to it later when you have more time. So basically, this yearly goal planner consists of 3 main databases, one for goals, one for tasks, and a vision board. And then there's also a page where you can write out your review and planning section of 2025. So you can do everything that I mentioned before regarding the dreaming stage, the looking back stage, setting an action plan, and also motivating yourself. So this is really important. And then at the end of the year, you can actually use this as a space to actually refer to this and see how far you got. So here in the goals, you can see here that it actually has actionable steps inside. So when you complete these, so ideally when you set the goal, you want to already set the steps it takes to get to that goal, so that when you complete them, you can see the completion percentage. So let's say that the goal is to learn 12 new recipes. So that means that each month you need to learn 1 recipe and cook it. So as you can see, it's a very step-by-step approach. By the end, you will have learned 12 new recipes and cooked them. And there's a special formula here, so it's pretty satisfying in that sense. And in the vision board, you can always refer to this and see what kind of vision you might have for this year and refer to that. And then on the bottom, we have my tasks. So here it's going to mix all of the tasks with each of the goals. So if you have multiple goals, it's going to show all of the deadlines by the order that it's coming first. So you can see that this one was completed. And then there's this many to-dos. If you have more goals, it's going to show up here with different tasks. And if we quickly click here, there's nothing in here, but this is really a space for your own personal planning. So let's go back here. And if you have Notion open, feel free to follow along. And as I mentioned, this will be recorded, so you can also follow along when you have more time and can rewind and rewatch. So the first step is going to be to start by turning on the small text full width inside of the page. So whenever you have an empty page, it's a good idea to turn these on, unless it is something like a portfolio website or something you want to keep the attention in the center. If you want more space, especially if you're using it on desktop, it's a good idea to turn this on. And then we're going to start by creating the different databases and pages. So the first step is going to be to create the 2025 review and planning page and so on. So the first thing we're going to do is create columns by typing / and then column. So we have 4 columns here, and let's go ahead and just start adding the pages in. So /page, and this one is going to be 2025 planning and review. So that's the first page. The next thing we're going to create is a database. So we're going to type / and then database, and I want it in full page, and this one is going to be for goals. So this is going to be called goals. And I would like this one inside of a gallery view. And we'll be filling these in more once we have all of this laid out. So the next thing is a task database. So again, database, full page. And this one is going to be called tasks. And then the final thing is going to be the vision board. So /page, /database, full page. And then it's going to be called vision board. So one thing to note is that it's a really good idea to make sure to store the databases as database pages instead of using the views of the database directly inside of here, so that you can really keep track of them. And now let's go ahead and start filling these in. So first, let's start with the 2025 planning and review. We can go ahead and add an icon. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to switch everything to blue so that you can kind of have a theme here. And we can do something like this. And here, what I would recommend is, for example, having different headings. So like I mentioned earlier, so we have the dreaming stage here, dream big. And then we would have another one here, which is going to be to reflect on the past. And then what we can do, and if you want a shortcut, you can do Control Command D to create another heading here. So this one is going to be the action plan. And here we need to extract the ideas. So we're going to extract goals. And then we're going to find motivation. Find sources of motivation. So here you could start typing out your dreams. Here you can start reflecting on the past. And then here you can start to extract goals based on that. And then start creating an action plan and then sources of motivation. Once you're done with this part, you can type, for example, /heading 3. And this one could be the reflection. So if you need to do like a reflection every quarter, every month, even, or every year, this could be where you can type how things are going. So in that sense, these would be kind of the sample headings that I would recommend to get you started in terms of an outline of what you can do. And Notion has a lot of formatting options, so you can have a lot of fun with this. Add pictures if you like. You can really do this kind of planning in your own way, which is why I think it's important not to have like a concrete setup here, but rather enjoy Notion's flexibility. So once you have the planning and review page done, you can move on to goals. So the goals section is basically going to show a gallery view of different goals that you want to set. So this is very simple, and you can also customize this into a lot of more complicated setups. But we're going to keep things extremely simple here so that you have this very basic framework to customize it and develop it into your own unique system. So this one, let's say, is the learn 12 new recipes goal. And we're going to add a property here, which is going to be a date. And this date is going to be the goal's start and end. So this is another really important thing to think about, is just when are you going to start this goal and when do you have to complete it? So timelines are really important. So let's say that we're going to start in January 1st and the end date is going to be at the end of the year. So let's say December 31st is when you want to finish this goal. And then what we're going to do is we're going to click out. Oh, before that, let's go ahead and add a cover photo, change cover, unsplash. We can add something relating to cooking. So let's go ahead and add this picture. And now we can showcase it by clicking the 3 dots here. And then we can go to layout and card preview to be page cover. The next thing we're going to do is adjust the properties so that you can see the date starting and ending. And then once we have everything else set up, we're going to connect it to the other database, which is going to be the tasks. So for now, we're going to keep it simple like this, and we'll add a bit more later. But as you can see, there's a lot of room for customization here. You could do things like add notes. You can add things like a status for completion, things like that. So there's a lot you can do here. But for now, we're just going to keep this as a view all goals. And let's go ahead and add also an icon here. So we're going to put, let's say, goal like this. And just so that we can find this later, let's go ahead and name this event 2024. So now we have this one. The next thing is going to be the tasks database. The tasks database is going to be operating on a checkbox system. So here, if we go, we have a very basic table now. And let's go ahead and just add a sample task so that we can easily see what properties we need to add to it. So the first thing we need to add is a date. Then we want to add whether or not it's done. So a checkbox, done. And for now, it can be as simple as this. And we can move over the done here and do something like this. So now we have the done, the name of the task, and the date that it should be due. And let's go ahead and add an icon, which is going to be a checkbox like this. And we basically have the tasks database. And let's also name this event December 2024. And you'll see why this is really important soon, that it's named something unique like this. And then we have the vision board. So here in the vision board, this is also very simple. But all we want to do is really be able to show images that are going to reflect your theme of the year. So for that, we're going to go ahead and click the three dots here, go to layout and choose gallery view. And let's go ahead and add an image so we can get started. So I'm going to choose the theme of the year to be adventure. So I really hope to go on more adventures this year, and I'm really looking forward to what's to come. So I'm going to change the cover photo. Unsplash is a great place to find images. So I'm just going to type adventure to see what comes up. And I can put something here. So let's say that this image was going to inspire me. Then I don't really need to add anything more here unless you want to add different properties, categorize your vision board, all of these things. But for now, we're going to keep it really simple and focus on the images. So I'm going to click the three dots here again, go to layout, and then card preview should be page cover. So now we see the image here. And the other thing that's really cool with gallery view is that you can actually remove this part of the image so that you can see only the cover photo. So I'm going to go to properties and then hide the name. So now we have a clean view of only the picture. Now let's go ahead and add an icon here. And I'll put something relating to photos. So now we have the vision board. So if I click out, now we have the vision board, the tasks database, the goals database, and a page for 2025 planning and review. So the next thing is going to just be to put everything together. And the first thing I'm going to add at the top is going to be that vision board. So I'm going to go ahead and type /heading 3. And this is going to be the 2025 vision board. And you can write your theme of the year here. So adventure. And then here we're going to do /divider. And under here, let's go ahead and do a linked view of database. So linked view of database basically shows this database inside of this page here as a view. So anything you edit here gets edited in the main database. So linked view of database. And I want the vision board here. And actually for the vision board, I also need to make sure to name it something easy to find. So this one's going to be called Event December 2024. And if I go back, now I can click here and look for it. So as you can see, if you have multiple databases called vision board, it's really hard to find that particular database to link it to. So I'm going to go ahead and click this one, click the gallery view. So now I'm going to hide the database title. And we basically have this vision board. One small adjustment I'm going to do is go to layout and then make sure the card size is small. So this way it's going to show up that with more pictures. The other useful thing to do is to change the load limit to 10 pages so you don't have a huge amount of pictures here. And let's go ahead and fill in a bit more of the vision board. So I'm going to go ahead and just choose a bunch of random pictures here that represents this vision. So let's go ahead and type adventure. So we can click this one. Maybe mountains. something like hiking. And maybe the final one, something like a safari could be cool and sounds very adventurous. So we can put that here. And then we can go ahead and work on the goals and tasks. So the first thing I'm going to do is type /heading 3. And this one's going to be my goals /divider. And here we're going to add the linked view of the goals database. So that's going to be /linked view. And then we're going to look for goals, event, December 2024, like this, and then view all. So now we see the one that we already added here. And we're going to make this a little bit smaller so that it's a little bit easier to look at. So let's go ahead and put that here. And then what we're going to do is to have the tasks below. So /heading 3 tasks, and then /divider, and then /linked view of database. And then we can have the tasks event in the table view. And then we can hide the database title so it looks a bit cleaner. So now we have the vision board, my goals, and my tasks. So the next step is going to be to connect the tasks to the goals. So if we open this one up, we can click plus add a property. And this one is going to be a relation property. And we want to relate it to the tasks. And we want to find the correct one. So this one. And we can go ahead and add a two-way relation here, which means that the tasks you add through here is going to show up in the tasks as well. So add relation. And then now we can actually relate it. So you can see that I can tag it with any of the tasks inside of this database. The next thing I'm going to do is to check here how that's going. So here we have that goals here. We can also rename this at this point so that it's just goals. And then we can also rename this one so that it's just tasks. So it basically just takes the database's name, but you can also do things like adjust the name, you can adjust the icons and so on. So the next thing I'm going to do is actually to adjust the layout a little bit. So Notion has rolled out an update that I'm not a huge fan of, which is that you can no longer just hide or kind of transform this into a minimal view, the relation property. So what you actually now have to do is to click here and you can add to layout, and then you can click here and go to advanced setting, convert to relations group. And then here you can click here and then show as minimal. So this used to be my favorite view with the relations, but now with the new layouts update, unfortunately it takes so many clicks to get to this. But now we're here and apply to all pages. So now you can see add tasks. And then what we're going to do is to create a database template, which is going to showcase all of the tasks relating to this recipe. So just so that we have this, we can click this one, learn 12 new recipes. Let's go ahead and add the date. So this could be the first one. Learn and cook first recipe. And then you're going to click the blue button here, plus new template. And this one is going to be called new goal. So every time you add a new goal, you want to load the tasks related to that goal. So this one's going to be called my tasks /divider. And then what we can do is /linked view of database. And we're going to link it to this one. The only thing you have to do here is that we want to make sure to filter it out based on what it's related to. So this is learn 12 new recipes, but this is called new goal. So what you need to do is to filter the goals by the new goal, save for everyone. So now we have all the tasks that you add here is going to be related to this new goal. And we can now test this out. So here, if I click now, you can see this template inside, new goal. And you can see that it already loaded them here. So now we can see a relationship really clearly between the two. The next thing I'm going to do is to add that formula that's going to allow you to check how many of the tasks that you've done for this goal. So ideally, when you start with this and you create a new goal, the first step is just going to be to populate this whole task table. So this is going to be the second recipe. So just to keep things quick, I'll do this. So we're going to make a lot of them. Let's just stop at 5 months, and I'll put February 1st, March 1st, and April 1st. And then we can do May 1st. So we have all the dates here. If we click out, you can see them here. And let's go ahead and sort them by date so that they're in the correct order, like this. Save for everyone. So now it's in the correct date order. The next thing we want to do is actually just to make sure that we only see incomplete ones here. So incomplete, and then add a filter. So this is going to filter out all of the tasks which are checked. So it should be unchecked in order to show up here. Then we can click here, duplicate this view, and this one is going to be completed. And we're going to switch over this filter to be checked. And then we'll create one more, which is to show everything. So duplicate and then view all. And we can remove this filter. So now you can see everything here, completed, incomplete. So if I complete it, it goes here. So now everything looks good here. And the next thing we can do is to go over to the goals database. And what we're going to do is to now add that formula to see how many that we've done. So now let's say that we've done 2 of the 5 tasks. So we're going to add a property, which is going to be formula. And let's say that this is the completion. So we can put some kind of bar here like this. And we're going to go ahead and add that formula. So the formula here is a little bit complicated just because Notion doesn't have a really good rounding when you do divisions. So basically you have to multiply 100 and then divide 100 just to get the round to work. So the first thing we'll do is that we want to filter the tasks. So if you click tasks, you can see all the tasks here that are related to this. And then we're going to filter them through so that the current dot done equals true. So basically all of the done ones. So we have 2 that are done, dot length. So that means how many of them there are, which is 2. And then we're going to divide that by the number of tasks. So tasks dot length. And then what we're going to do is multiply this by 100. And we're going to put the parentheses around, divide by 100. And here we want to do a round. So now we have the rounded. Let's go ahead and fix this. So sometimes it's easy to get confused in your own formula. So here times 100, then I'm going to round it and then divide 100. So now we got it. So I can also put this in the description, but basically this is the best way to get a clean roundedness, especially if you have really long decimals. And then we can go to edit property and then change the number format to percent. So 40% completion. And we can use the ring like this. So now we see the completion here. So if I click one more, you can see it go to 60 and so on. So now if I click out, I can showcase this by going to the three dots here, properties, and then the completion percent shows here, as you can see. So this is the best way to sort of plan out your goals. If you have a new goal, you might want to set this as a default for all views so that whenever you click plus new page, it's going to load all of this in here. So let's say that this is a health goal, and this is going to load inside here. So Notion is sometimes slow with its database templates, but here it is. And now if we click out, we can see that if let's say that we add task 1, and we can set a date here like this for this health goal, then you can see it also show up here. So you can also mix a whole number of goals that you need as well and really plan them out. So this is the basics of this 2025 goal planner with the vision board. I hope this is useful. This is the bare bones so that you can really customize it and also mold it to your own needs, as well as not make it too complicated. So I hope that this is kind of a useful way to track your goals for 2025. If this went too fast, be sure to check out the recording of this video with timestamps later. So this is going to be saved on the channel. Next, let's go over to the Ultimate Yearly Goal Planner 2025 edition. So I just wanted to showcase what you can do to customize this kind of very basic structure. And if you're interested in more features, feel free to check this template out as well from the store. There is a 40% discount code with the code DEC40 during checkout. So this is a pretty useful template if you're looking to manage your goals for 2025. And I wanted to sort of showcase the preview here. And before we get into the preview, if you have any questions throughout that came up during this event, feel free to type them into the chat and I'll be going over them right after this segment. So the Ultimate Yearly Goal Planner 2.0 preview, you can basically see that it's kind of similar in the sense that you have your goals dashboard, you have your task dashboard, but then there's an additional area here for planning and reviewing, and the vision board is below here. So you can see that you can add your values, you can add your mission, and really showcase them here. One additional thing that I think is really great for this 2.0 version is that you can now check your life areas. So you can kind of mark your life areas that are important to you, and then it shows up here. And then when you click them open, you can see any active goals that you have for that particular life area. So this is like another database that you can add as well. And some other things you can add is the planning and reviewing. So every week you can review your goals. You can review every month, quarterly, yearly, and view all. And each of these has a special sort of planning template inside. So you can answer all of these questions every month and reflect on your goals and progress. So this is basically the Ultimate Yearly Goal Planner 2.0 version. And it also comes with a bunch of different cover photos. So as you can see with the life areas, you can really customize these. They're in multiple colorways. And also with the planning and reviewing, these are also available as different colors. This is black because I was showing an example here, but you can see that there's also these kind of pastel colors as well that you can customize. So be sure to check this out if you're interested in this one. And next we'll go into the Q&A. So if anyone has any questions during this session, feel free to type them now into the chat. If you think of any questions later on, feel free to also email to organizednotebook.info@gmail.com, and I'm more than happy to answer any questions that you might have regarding goal planning, Notion, anything you might have relating to this. Feel free to also email there if you have any questions later on that I can help you with. So it looks like no one has any questions. So I'm going to be moving towards the end of the session. So the next thing is that feel free to download all the freebies on the website. I'm going to be sharing all of the links here. So I just shared the Ultimate Yearly Goal Planner Notion template into the chat. So I'm going to also share with you this course that's called Learn by Building. Basically, this course is special because I think the best way to learn Notion is not necessarily just watching straight tutorials, but really learning how to build from scratch, just like this event. And it basically teaches you all the way from really simple pages, like you're creating a simple portfolio, for example, all the way to multiple databases, and then finally creating exactly the template that you're looking for and designing that from scratch. So feel free to check this course out as well. So I'm going to go ahead and put that into the chat. And then make sure to check out the freebies here. There's a bunch of resources you can use as well as free templates. And then finally, if you're interested in booking one-to-one coaching sessions or custom services, feel free to check this page out. And I'm really excited to chat with you if you have anything you're looking to create for your business or for your personal needs. And finally, if you have any questions or comments after this event is over, feel free to send an email to organizednotebook.info@gmail.com. I'm really happy to answer any of your questions. If you have any about Notion, this event, or any of the templates on the store. So thank you so much for joining today's event. And I wish you all a really happy new year and happy holidays.